So for today's session, we have Ricardo Vargas. He is originally from Belo Horizonte, Brazil, and he lives in Lisbon, in Portugal. He is a PMI fellow and has been formerly a PMI chairman. He founded the Bright Line initiative in PMI. He is director in product management infrastructure in the United States and has founded and is managing director at Microsolutions. He has a PhD in civil engineering. He has done 250 keynote addresses in 40 countries. He has written books, done podcasts, videos, articles, and so much in project management and so many other areas, risk management, crisis management, and so on. And I think, he has project management experience for over 25 years, and it's really impressive. I think we were trying to condense this list, but there's so many other stuff which we could say here. So it's impressive what is possible in one lifetime, and I think, Ricardo, you're a proof for that. So once more, thank you so much for being here. And here is the LinkedIn profile. So I would say I would hand it over to you. I would stop sharing now, and you could share your presentation.
Thank you. If you can put myself on spotlight so everybody can see me, yeah, that's perfect. Hello, everyone. Elena, thank you very much for your kind introduction. You know, for me, that talking to you and talking to members of PMI volunteers, this is always a bless for me. You know, it's an amazing opportunity for me to share. And when Thomas, I know Thomas for many, many years. For those who did not know, when I joined the board, the PMI board of directors in 2007, he was my mentor because he was at the board and he was the one supporting me on my initial steps. And I will never forget that. So when he sent me a note, I say, there is no way I will say no to a request coming from you. So thank you very much, Thomas, for bringing me in. And it's great to talk about the concept of Project Wonders. And what happened, I said, you know, what comes into my mind if I start thinking about wonders? And I want to split this presentation into two topics. The first part is far more personal, and I will just frame to you my journey and why, for example, people say, you know, you have such a passion for what you do, and this didn't start now. And for me, the first thing that comes to my mind when I talk about Project Wonders, it's this magic of transforming ideas into reality. It's to bring ideas to life. It doesn't matter if it's a building or if it's, a humanitarian project when I was at the United Nations, or if it's a new holiday, or if the preparation of your wedding. The idea of getting things done is, for me, what is magic. And I was able in life to find something that brought to me a meaning in life and also a way of living. So let me tell you, so this is me when I was 2 years old. So I come from, I would say, a simple family in Brazil. Both parents were public teachers from primary and middle school. And, you know, everything was, for me, was on this simple life was about education, study. And of course, everything they tried to propose to me is this word of stability. You know, it's, when you have kids, what you want, try to protect them, prepare them, keeping them, I would say, as safe as they can, try to, to frame the best you can, I would say, a safe path through life. But the reality of life is quite different, right? Reality of life, it's much more like, sailing in a thunderstorm than, in this calm lake or ocean. So it's a very turbulent. And for me, I learned this very early, that this reality of getting things done and relying, I would say, a lot on yourself and trying to make something out of your life. And this is what drove me to become a chemical engineer, to join PMI, to open my company ANC at that time, and to become an entrepreneur, because in Brazil it was not very easy to have a job. The country at the 90s, early 90s, it's still today, but at the early 90s, was very challenging to find a job or to find a stable thing. And I said, I cannot rely on working to get a job. I need to find ways of applying this project management concept in my own life. How do I transform my idea of having freedom in life and having a means of living that does not rely on one specific job, and how I can make this a reality. So what I did is I found project management at the time of the university, and I was fascinated by the concepts of critical path, resource leveling. How do you manage that? And this was, oh God, if you do it well, you save resources, you save money, you save your time, and you make the best use of people instead of overload people with a lot of work and then reduce the work to nothing. And, I found that passionate, because when I was very young, we didn't have time, financial conditions to buy toys and this. We have a very, I would say, simple life. The money my parents had was the money for food, for the basic clothes. So I was zero, absolutely zero luxury in any way. And so I love playing. So I decided to build my own toys. And some of them I still have today, up to today. So I created my own Monopoly game because I was crazy about playing Monopoly, but I never got one. Okay, until today, I never got one. So, and what I did, I built one when I was 8 years. And when I did that, I said, wow, it's cool. It's probably cooler to build than to play. And then I start building things, but not necessarily playing. The build process was the passion. And then I decided to transform this into my living. So I started with two partners, a company that became a very relevant company in Brazil, reselling software. And then when Microsoft released the Microsoft project, I was the one to take the lead on Microsoft project on that. And then I start saying, okay, this software, I know it well, but I don't know the math behind. And this brought me to PMI, the PMP. And this photo here is a photo that I have a lot of pride. That was the award I received from PMI in 2005 with the PM Dome as the best training tool in the world, and the Distinguished Contribution Award that I received both for the contribution. And this is a photo that is very relevant. And over time, I built a very nice career and things. But when I tell this, people don't see that sometimes life is not very easy and not everything happens as planned. And for me, it's very emotional talking to you in Germany, because Germany has a very key, relevant participation on that. In September 2003, I was detected with a brain tumor, a serious brain tumor. And imagine you with 31 years, your wife pregnant of your second child, and you leave an MRI exam saying you have a brain tumor. And I said, oh, it's like, it's like everything stopped and you say, what is happening? And by November, and this is why I'm saying about Germany, I went to Hanover, to the International Neuroscience Institute in Hanover, and I stayed in the hospital for a month. I did the surgery, and I am perfectly well today. So it was removed. So I lost the hearing from this side, but I was able to come back to Brazil and arrive one day before my second daughter was born. So, and this is why, for example, I have a very special link. And why I'm saying this, because this shows, and will be very close to the second topic I will talk, is this shows that life in any ways has any predictability, that we may think we have control over the situation, but many times life just change. And this was a life-changing moment in my life. And and in 2006, I just decided to leave my company. And just to explain to you what I'm talking about, I founded ANC with two partners, okay? When I decided to leave ANC, it has 1,600 employees, 1,600, and a revenue of almost 200 million US dollars per year. And just to give you an idea, today, ANC has 41,000 employees. 41,000 employees, offices in, I don't know, hundreds, and it's probably the second largest call center in Brazil. And I'm so proud to be part of the seed that created everything. So when I decided to leave ANC, it was a bold decision because it was not money. It was not money. I'm pretty sure that if I had stayed, it would be very different from me. But it was about freedom. It was about navigating things that are different, and experiment and raising my kids in a different environment, doing different things, and getting the freedom and the adaptability to live. Until the phone rings in 2012. I was in my office. I was doing a lot of work in Asia, a lot of work in Africa in project management. I work mostly with capital projects. And then the United Nations rings the phone, and it's them asking for me. And this was a remarkable moment in my life, because I was in my office in Belo Horizonte, in Brazil. And then the phone rings, and it was not common that people speaking in English would call you. But what happened is, I was there, they called me, I spoke to them and say, look, it's the UN. We are creating a new, I would say, director level, very senior position to manage our projects and our infrastructure globally. And we would like to know your views on that. If it's something you would be interested, or if you have any name. And I said, oh, thank you very much. Let me think. Maybe I have someone to suggest you. I don't know. And then the phone, I finished the call, and my wife came to my office. I'm married for 28 years. Thomas knows my wife. He knows my wife. And she's my partner in life. So we started everything from scratch. When we got married, we had one sofa at home, nothing else. And she came to my office that day. She never comes. But that day, she came for some reason. And she said to me, Ricardo, this is the only time that you are using your project management skills that is not to make someone wealthier. That is not just to make money. You can apply what you're learning to do something different. And this was very important for me. This was April 2012. In 2 months, I moved with my wife, my two daughters. I moved with my wife, my two daughters to lead the project management group at UNOPS. 1,200 projects, 130 countries, 300 project managers, 11,000 works, and all sorts of challenges you may find. So with that, I had the experience to see roads like this one in Chagakran in Afghanistan in 2009, before my time, transforming into this. Transforming into this. And this photo is very special for me because this is not just road connecting people. It was the first opportunity that we had lights, and the lights allowed people to read, to get together, and, and to improve life. Many countries in the world do not have lights on the streets. And this was an amazing accomplishment for me, and something that I was very proud. Every year, I spent 5 years there. Every year, we built around 5,000 kilometers of roads, and roads in everywhere, roads in Afghanistan, roads in Myanmar. So, I don't even know where we were building because there are so many projects and they were so dispersed by everywhere. On the top of that, a lot of tragedies that we had to manage. The Haiti earthquake. This is the photo of Haiti earthquake, and this is a region called Fort National in Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, and this is what it became with our project. This was already in my newsletter last month. This is the 16/6, and this photo I took myself. And what is amazing for me was the blessed opportunity that I had to live for 5 years. Okay, 5 years, sorry, it's written annos, but for 5 years in this place. This place is Copenhagen, is where the headquarters of this operation is based, the UNOPS. So I lived there, one of the safest place, one of the nicest place on earth. But at the same time, I was living here. And this is the Islamic State flag, because during the time between 2012 and 2016-17 was the apex of the movement on the Islamic State. So I was deeply, deeply engaged on, on rehabilitation, on building camps, on doing everything we could to save people's life against the tragedy, the humanitarian tragedy that was happening in Syria and this. So imagine this dichotomy. And then I had the chance to go to Erbil, to go to Iraq, to visit these places. And we built at that time, using the PMBOK guide, using this process, we had the chance to build 35 IDPs, internal displaced people. And this is myself with this, talking to these young people, and many of the camps, the oldest one was a kid of 5, 6. So I had seen, the best and not necessarily the best side. So I had seen both sides, and the lighting. So we did projects with lighting and everything. And everything was this volatility. On this trip, on this day, 13th of April 2015, at 1:20 p.m., I was having lunch and celebrating with my colleagues. This is Bana Kalot, that is still the director of this unity in Middle East. And the 3 engineers that were leading that, we were so happy to celebrate this. 2 days later, the same restaurant was bombed by a terrorist attack. This is where I was 2 days before. 14 people killed, and this instability. And what this instability brings to me, and this is what will drive me to my second talk. Why I showed you all of this? I know it's the history of my life. But one of the key things that I learned, and I shared this, I think, 1 billion times when I was talking about the PMBOK 7 and this, it's our ability to adapt to different circumstances. our ability. This is why I'm so passionate about the principle of adaptability, because if you're not able to adapt, if you are not able to adapt to the different circumstances that life produces to you, you just don't move. And this photo for me is remarkable for what I want to say. This is a photo taken in December 26, 2004. And these are tourists just having fun on the beach because the water went down before the tsunami. And look the waves of the tsunami coming. And this is remarkable on how we have a hard time to see when some inflection points happen. And one of the inflection points I want to share with you is what is happening today. And why I want to talk about that. And because I am in a crusade today. I am in a crusade to educate project managers for the tsunami that is coming. And if you are not seeing what is coming, you will be taken by surprise. And what I want in the next minutes is to share with you some of the feelings I have about that, some of the texts that are behind this, and try to rationalize with you why I believe that this is what is coming is big. Look, it's 1 billion times bigger than when Agile came in the 2000. You know, it's something that will reshift not only project management, but will reshift the society. And I will try to make sense. And my aim at the end of this presentation is that at least each of you listening to me, you will be curious to know what is going on. Because many people I see today, and I feel sad when I see that, is people say, oh, it's nice, this ChatGPT is nice. But you know, I asked it a question and it didn't answer perfectly. So it's something, okay. ChatGPT is not even a scratch on the top of an iceberg. ChatGPT is nothing compared with what is coming. So I want to show you this. I'm pretty sure you all saw this photo, the Pope wearing this fancy jacket, or you probably saw the President Trump being arrested. All of you saw Hillary Clinton distributing pizza, or even the Will Smith hit on Chris Rock at the Oscar ceremony, looking through the eyes of Chris Rock. What they have in common and why we need to make sense of this. This is not Photoshop. These photos were not, it's not something like Ricardo is wearing blue, I will make it red, I will make his face different, I will remove and change the color of his skin. No, this is different. None of these photos had ever existed. They're not edited. They were created pixel by pixel. And pay attention on what this is, what's called stable diffusion. It's the same concept of GTP4, but for images. It's based on the probabilistic distribution. And imagine what they are creating. These photos, the Pope was never on that position and you just put the jacket on him. No, this photo didn't exist. The glass, nothing. It was everything created from scratch. And what I'm telling is that this may not be new, but what is new now is that anyone can do that, and can do that pretty much for free, and now at this moment, immediately, today. This is the difference. And we are coming to a moment that maybe we will not be able to recognize what is true and what is not true anymore by looking at images, by listening to voices. For example, take a look on this. Take a look on this. These, I will just play for you. Probably more. And this is if I'm not wrong. But what's the difference of this music? This music does not exist. It was built bit by bit by artificial intelligence that simulates perfectly. Today, if I can record Elena's voice for 5 minutes and I upload in some of these tools, I can put Elena to say whatever I want by typing on the chat, and it will go out like her voice. And of course, people may recognize if they have special devices for that. But if we think about fake news, if you think about communications, if you think about proof, imagine the turbulence. If the current fake news that are, I would say, poorly created, they have this effect. Imagine one absolutely fine and pristine fake news. What will happen? Look this video. This video was 100% created by a prompt. No single pixel was inserted by a human. This is 100% based on AI and artificial intelligence and generative code. So take a look. This video has millions of views on YouTube. Imagine the quality that is being rendered and created by this. And then it comes to this sentence. Go into what I said. In my lifetime, I have seen 2 demonstrations of technology that struck me as revolutionary. The first one was in the 80s when I saw the graphical user interface. And the second one just came last year. And this is not Ricardo speaking. This is Bill Gates on the Gates Notes on March 21. The second one, I have said it before, AI is one of the most profound things we are working on as humanity. It's more profound than fire or electricity or any other big things we have worked on. Who said this? Sundar Pichai, the CEO at Davos. If you do not believe,
I've said this
just
before,
listen to him.
AI is one of the most profound things we are working on humanity. As humanity, it's more profound than fire or electricity or any of the other bigger things we have worked on.
This is what is happening. So there is such a disruptive evolution that things are incredibly different and would be incredibly different. So what I did together with my dear friend Antonio, we did last week a webinar called Applications of AI in Project Management. And this was, I would say, super nice. We have a massive audience. And we use a part of that, of the time of the webinar, just to show people some of the tools, to give a taste. And I want to go through them. Some tools that are, I would say, disrupting project management, and they are disrupting now. I'm not saying they will disrupt us in 5 years. They are disrupting and revisiting the way we work now. The first one is called Umata. Umata is a chat GPT for files. And I did this test, and I want you to take a look with me on the test. I recorded this. So this is not YouTube video. I did. Take a look on what I did. I entered to the Accountability Office of the US government. I downloaded the full report of the James Webb Space Telescope, okay? The full report. I came to Umata and I upload this full report on this AI tool. 33 pages. I didn't even open the pages, okay? I didn't even open. I took the PDF, I went to Umata, and I upload this PDF. So it's uploading, done. Then I press open, then it will open the file. And then I have a GPT area on the side, and I wrote, what are the main risks of the James Webb Space Telescope that I need to be aware of? I wrote whatever, okay? This was the first question that came to my mind. And I wrote as asking to someone, okay? Then I press enter, and look what happened. It came with the answers, relating all the answers to me, and also pointing in the text where I could find each of them. Take a look, each of them. Everything. Can you imagine what I'm saying? Can you just imagine what I'm saying? Imagine report now. Imagine the concept of reporting. The concept of reporting is dead. The concept of reporting something. Why it's dead? Because you know, now you just ask whatever you need. You need, what do I need to pay attention in this project? I could have asked this question. So everything here. The second tool, there is a tool that is transforming also the way we manage team tasks. It's called Motion. Motion is like a scheduling tool using AI. So you assign work to your team members, and based on their delays and their movements, it shifts based on their priorities. So it's like a dynamic schedule. It's not something, nothing is attached fixed in your calendar unless you want it. And it shifts the priority to make sure that you make the best use of your time. And it does it automatically. I'm using it, and I need to tell you, I'm scared because I'm used to have a calendar and know, oh, next week, Tuesday, I have this. Because it shifts. It shifts based on the priority and on the links, and say, no, this will be this Thursday. So every day things change, and it's a dynamic scheduling, unless you have something that you need to be fixed on that specific day. So this is a super trend that we see today for project schedule and this. And then I ask you, how baseline will be if we have a tool like that. The third one, a super polemic tool, I view, it's the use of AI on recruitment. It's to use AI to select members of a project. Use AI to do interview. Have you tried, any of you, to use and to be interviewed by a computer? Imagine you talking to a screen, but there is no human on the other side. It's just you. And this AI is analyzing your face, your movements, your smile, analyzing thousands of data points on your face to identify not only the content of what you said, but how you said. How was your behavior? Did you smile? Did you transfer, I would say, I would say, a strong security on what you said. Are you afraid or not? And this too was so polemic that there is today many cases in the court saying that they are having bias on recruitment, because even for you to say this, it means someone teached the platform to say, oh, this is good, this is not good, this expression, this tone of voice is better than that. But this is reality. And I need to say most of the organizations today are using this. So to evaluate your CV, to evaluate yourself as an employee. Fourth one, it's Gamma. It takes you seconds to create a report, to create a document, to create a presentation. Seconds. Take a look on this demo I'm showing you now. I did too. So I just took Gamma. Look, hi, Ricardo. And then I wrote, I want a presentation for a business case, okay? Because I don't know exactly. So I wrote this, and then it suggested me this outline. I said, okay. I picked a theme, okay? I would say a topic. Then it's making some magic, reviewing, and what it's doing, it's generating the content. It's not formatting the content. Remember, the concept of Smart Draw and this on PowerPoint, you give the content and they make it look nice. Now, this is creating the content for me out of scratch using GPT-4 technology. And take a look on what I will have after this time. I'm not speeding up the video, okay? This is the time that it requires you. And one thing that is important that none of them, oh, look, this is the product. Okay, this is the slide deck. Take a look on the business case. I'm pressing present, okay, in this tab. So look, take a look by Ricardo Vargas. Did you see? So this is my slide deck. It selected the images, the background. I didn't do any. The only thing you saw I'm inserting was the prompt. That 4-5 lines I wrote at the beginning. Look, everything I needed with zero effort. And you want to ask me one thing. Okay. How much does this cost? It's not cheap, okay? It's not cheap. It's zero. Umata, up to 60 pages, zero. Gamma, zero for this simple presentation. ChatGPT, zero. It means there is no barrier for you to use now. And this is a critical difference when people talk to me about metaverse. Why metaverse had this huge growth and then suddenly it lost? Because not everybody has 300, 400 euros to buy the Googles. They are big. They are not nice for you to walk. You know, it's not something that you can use all the time. But AI, it's there. You just enter in the site and it's over. It's done. It's done. And it costs nothing. I could go on this because I know many applications. I just selected these ones to show you. But there is one called, I think, Zopla or Koala or Kopla, that creates the logo, the name, the website of your company. You just give the name, the idea, it suggests the name, it suggests the logos, and it compares you using machine learning and AI. And at the end, if you like, you press buy button, you pay $30, and you have everything, all the logo in black, white, all applications, your business card, your letterhead, your website, everything, $30. If you like. if you like. So this is disruption. This is absolutely disruption. Going straight to project management. Predictor. It's the tool to prioritize. I'm talking, and this morning I was talking about that. Today, it's a challenge for us to use multi-criteria when you have many criteria to compare things. Predictor use more than 90 points to train and predict and prioritize. For example, you have a set of projects based on hundreds of criteria. You can do that. Okay, so it's sharp, and it uses all AI and big data to do that. And this is a Canadian company that both Antonio and I are very much engaged on it. The other one, de facto, and this is a dashboard with executive information, all using AI. And one of the key users of this is the French president, Macron, that is using this smart application that checks everything that is happening in terms of projects in a dashboard using AI. The other one, Scope Master, creates WBS, detailed specification out of the blue. You just tell them, I'm building a house, the house has this, you give some characteristics, and it starts populating the relationship and creating. Remember, I will never forget the time of Microsoft project where you have these templates, that you have 10 templates, 15 templates, but now imagine you having a billion templates, and most of them very reliable based on real data. And the next one is Ofolio, that allows you to develop project plans almost automatically, okay, using Google Maps integration, using destination, path, movement of materials, everything using big data and AI. I'm talking, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? And let me tell you my own experience, okay? My own experience. In 2018, together with partners in Denmark, we created, with the support of Microsoft, PMI, that was a chatbot based on Microsoft machine learning algorithm to create, I would say, and to populate tasks and to use this as a chat. It was an excellent experience until the day that Microsoft said, you know, I'm not using machine learning anymore. And then it was very hard for us to keep track, because when you connect to the server, you need to have this freedom to adjust, and we didn't, okay? So what happened? We had to, I would say, to park that initiative. And we parked it until February, because when I saw this, because I saw GPT and GPT-4 very heavily since early November last year, and I said, you know, we need to go on that. So what we are creating, Antonio is a partner, I'm a partner, we have a team in Estonia and a team in Denmark working on it, and we are working around the clock. I have a meeting with them later today, and we are creating a GPT that will combine most of the knowledge in project management. It will combine everything I did, everything Antonio did, everything that is in the public, in I would say, a virtual assistant, ChatGPT-like, but for project managers. So if you are studying for the PMP, managing a project, whatever, these will be your repository. And last week, this I will show you, and this is not even an alpha. This was a demo that I received that I'm being, sorry, it's not this one, it's this, that I am using. It's has nothing with the image you will see soon, but this is just an example. I asked it about the TCPI, the two complete performance index of a project, and I want it to help me to calculate. And this is the answer of the auto. So it's a chat GPT with all the proficiency of a project manager, and everything you may need you can use, and it records and stores, so you can have different tabs for different things on that. But I'm not here to advertise the auto because it's super fun for me, and it's not released yet. Okay, I saw some people already asking. We expect, it's very hard because as a project manager, I need to be responsible here, but we are expecting to release the beta version in about 10 days. Okay, the beta version. And this is good for what I will talk now. It's about, okay, how do we get ready? Because when I say 10 days, it's incredible, right? The speed, because the speed we are facing is the reality today. When I say it will take a while in AI, means it will take 6 months. If it takes forever, 1 year, 1 year and a half. And this is something we need to, because the concept of time is different. And my question going to this part is, how do we get ready? Right? So I spent some time to you telling my story and why I think projects are wonders. Then I spoke about something that is happening now, in front of us, today, at this exact moment. And of course, I'm sure that any of you listening to me are thinking, what do I do? Because if you are not thinking this way, there is something wrong. Because I am too. So what I did based on my experience, based on my history of life, based on my passion for transforming ideas. So what is the best way of getting into this tsunami and maybe having a great chance of surfing on this tsunami and benefit from it and do it in a responsible way that will really improve the society. The podcast I recorded this week was exactly about that. I said about second magnitude consequences. Why? Because what people are doing today on AI, they know the results tomorrow. But do they know what will happen 10 years down the road? I use this in my podcast, this example. I'm sure, and I want to be sure, that when Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, he didn't want to create a platform of fake news. He didn't want that. He wanted to create something that connects people, that is nice, that people get together. But an unintended consequence that happened is this. It's like Instagram. Most of the teenagers are getting depressed because of Instagram. Because Instagram portrays people like God and goddess. And normal people are not like that. So they cannot, they feel I'm ugly, I'm not happy because I don't have this. Nobody will post a photo and say, look, this is my junk breakfast. because I'm running to work. No, every breakfast that is posted is just magnificent. Best restaurants. And and people think this is reality. And this is second order consequence. And what I'm saying here, it's the same. What will happen? What kind of disruptions? Imagine for those who create designers who create websites, logo. Imagine that software developers when you can use ChatGPT to develop software. Imagine musicians when Discord just last week accepted more than 1,000, let me repeat, 1,000 producers of AI music. And I bet with any of you that the big contender of the Grammy Awards in 2 years from now will be AI. And who will receive? It's, this guy will receive because he was the one that coded the prompt of that music that has now 25 million views. How do we get ready for that? And when we think about this, this is based on my experience and what I had in life. The first one is this concept of moving from fragility to anti-fragility. Because we all know what is to be fragile. Fragile means weak. Fragile is this. Look, this glass of water, it's a glass. If I throw here, it will break. Because when under shock, under pressure, what happens? You just collapse. And many people think, okay, for me to survive and not be fragile, I should be robust. A metal cup, right? Because then I can throw on the floor, and it will not damage, right? Because it's metal. But no. Anti-fragility, it's above and beyond that. Anti-fragility is the example of this flower that I just love. It's called dandelion. And it's very common in Brazil, in many places, but in Brazil it was very common. And this flower has this, that is very fragile, if we think. Because, for example, we as a kid, we used to blow it, making a wish. And if you blow and you remove everything, you get what you want. And you think, oh, I'm destroying this dandelion. But you are not. Every time you blow the dandelion, look the seeds. It becomes stronger. This is why many people think this is a plague. Because the worst thing you can do with a dandelion is to blow it. If you need to remove, you need to be very cautious, because if you don't remove it carefully, it will multiply, and next day, 20 will happen. And this is the concept that Nassim Taleb called the anti-fragile concept. And this is fragile, it's what breaks. Robust is what resists. But where we need to be, all of us, anti-fragile, it's to win. Now I can explain to you why I'm thinking on PMO2, why I'm talking about AI. Why? Because if I do nothing, I am here. When change comes, I will just break and collapse. If I try to resist, it will not solve my problem. So what I need to see what is in there for project management. How we can maybe use AI and this to give really an upgrade on our profession. So it's the opposite of seeing just as a threat. And this is the concept. And this concept of anti-fragility has many examples. the Hydra of Hercules, every time you cut one head, 2 new heads raise. Our species, right? If you read Sapiens, you will know what I'm talking about, right? Because Yuval Noah Harari on Sapiens talk, because we are not the strongest. We are not with the largest brain, you know, and we just dominated. We put the lions on the zoo, right? We dominated all of them. Why? Because we benefit from the chaos and the way our mind works. COVID. And another example that I just love, because for me, this is so easy. It's gym. When you do weightlifting, okay, when you do that, what you are doing, technically speaking, when you do weightlifting, you are damaging your body. You're taking your muscles and you are hurting them. You are making it hurt. For what? For the body to say, oh God, I'm hurt. I cannot resist to this weight. Let's build more muscle there. Let's put, because otherwise it will collapse tomorrow. And then it builds, and then you break, and it builds. And this is how you gain muscle. Because if you don't do any exercise, what happens with you? You become weak. Because the body will say, we don't need. The body is an extremely smart machine. If you don't need it, why I should have this huge arm if you don't use it? Let's make a thin one, because then you need less food. You need less, I would say, less heart pumping, less bloody, less whatever, right? So you are doing gymnastic, running, doing your treadmill, whatever. What you're doing, you are using the concept of anti-fragility. You are exhausting your body to create, I would say, the conditions you want. And why not doing this with ourselves and our view on project management? And I want to give you 3 tips to do that. Very simple ones. First one, all anti-fragile structure, they need the stressor. If there is no stressor, if there is no sense of a burning platform, that something is there, you don't take action. You don't take action. So they need the stressor. And when we see AI, I think we see the stressor, right? We see the stressor. When you see, and when I give you these examples, for example, these tools I showed you quickly here, they are very nice, but they are scary, right? They are scary. Because sometimes you say, you know, maybe people will not need me anymore, because if people have this, why they should hire a lawyer, for example, if ChatGPT can understand, recognize, and give advice in law topics. So you need that stressor. You need to have a reason to move, a reason. So probably for me, one of the biggest benefits I had in my life, thinking now, is that because I was born in Brazil, and Brazil was everything but stable, you know, I learned, you know, it's something like, if you don't do, you are dead. And that's it. You know, and you learn, makes you become a little bit paranoid, but these help you to become less fragile and more prepared. For example, when I went to Africa and these very challenging places in Africa, when you see people living with almost nothing, it's the same. They are used to that. Like malaria. Malaria kills people. But if you go to places like Niger and like Tairu, that is from PMI, that is a great friend, like my brother, he said to me, Ricardo, I don't know how many times I got malaria. I don't know. Malaria for us, it's like cold. Because, you know, it's just impossible for you to avoid. So people are used, hospitals are used, and this is the concept of the presence of the stressor made them bring this to life. The second thing, it's my favorite word, they adapt. If a path is not working, they change the path. If this is not working, they shift, they adapt. For example, if something works, you go this way. If something is blocked, you just turn. You know, you adapt, you learn how to do different things and how to do in a different way. You need to, people that are not adaptable, organizations that are not adaptable, they are extremely fragile because any shake can bring them down. And this is exactly what I'm trying here. And this is why, for example, it's so important for me to spend this time and talking to you on that, because you need to adapt. You need to revisit what your core beliefs are today and think differently. And learn every single day. And when I say about this anti-fragile, need the stressor, adapt and learn, let me give you some practical tips. Practical. Now, for you to do as soon as I finish this presentation. Rethink your job. Take an honest thinking on how likely is your job be affected by AI and new technology. Be honest with you. But your job, don't think project management generically because the field is too big. I want you to think your job now. If you are a professor, if you are a consultant, whatever. What are the consequences of AI in your specific job? And I suggest you, why not asking ChatGPT for its opinion? It's free. Go there, chat at OpenAI. Let me put here. If you have not done so, why not chat.openai.com? Just do that. Open a free account and put that. I work with this, explain your job and say, what are the consequences? Second, rethink. One is your job. The other is your business. How likely it's to be affected, your business, because maybe your job, no, but the company you are in, yes, it will be massively affected by that. What are the consequences? Because one thing is you become, I love this. This is what I do all the time. Let me show you one secret that I use, Ricardo's secret. Trust me, I do this a lot. I do this. I do this 4-quadrant and I put here, Ricardo, you put your name. And I will put here, Ricardo, and here, PM, just as an example, project manager. And then I put strong, weak, strong. Oh, this first quadrant, I am extremely happy. Extremely, because I am strong, I'm very well positioned, and project management is strong, right? I'm in the sweet spot, right? Project management is bumping, and I'm in a very good position in this field. Fantastic. What happens if project management is strong, but I am not? New competitors will arise, right? New competitors will arise all the time, right? New leadership, new people will fulfill because the market is grown. What happens if I am strong, but project management becomes weak? I need to diversify. right? I need to make my living out of something that is not project management. And week, then you are dead. I'm being brutally honest. So what you need to do? You need to do this. Put the name of your company here, put your name here, and try to figure out what will happen, because maybe you will not be too much affected, your job, but the company you work for will. Maybe your company will not, but your job inside the company will. If your job inside the company will, what you need to do, you need to see what I can do to shift or to benefit from that. If your job is good, but your company is not, maybe it's for you to be open for new opportunities before it's too late. So this is the kind of practical analysis you need. And you need to commit with me, commit to say, I will use some AI tool at least once a day. At least. I will not ask how many of you already use ChatGPT, okay? But if you have not used, I would be concerned for you. You need at least one a day. I use, just for you to know, I use all the time. It's something that, there is no other option. I use all the time. Second, learn one new AI tool per week. Every week, you need to learn one new one. Let me give an examples. Killbot.ai. It's a tool to help you with writing in English. ChatGPT. Dolly for drawing. Beethoven for music. It creates music. Copypump.ai. And Jasper helps you to create posts on LinkedIn and this. Whatever you want. If you want drawing, use drawing. I don't care if it's directly for project management. I'm caring for you to become anti-fragile, to learn how things are evolving. Go tomorrow on Midjourney and try to create an image, whatever image you want to create, but do that. Second tip, learn to unlearn. And I love this photo. This is a photo from a channel called Smarter Every Day. And this channel is a super interesting YouTube channel. And they have one video that I love. It's called the backwards bike. And they put a gear like this one, and the bike operates in the opposite. You move this, the bike goes this way. You move this, the bike goes. It's exactly the opposite. And he challenged people about biking, riding this bike. No one was able to bike. Even for 10 meters. Watch the video. It took him 8 months. Let me repeat, 8 months to learn how to bike this. And he said the challenge was not learning how to bike. It was to unlearn what he had learned in the past. So what we must unpack what we have in our mind. We must unpack this, unlearn, to open space to learn new things. The problem is that we always want to look things based on our previous experience. And when something disruptive comes, you just get lost because you don't have that. For example, now it's 6 p.m. for me here. So I was at 3 p.m. in a meeting. And then the person came to me and said, he wrote a report and he cheated. And I said, oh, but how do you cheat in a report? No, he used a ChatGPT and say, how on earth is someone using ChatGPT cheating? What is, I didn't get. So maybe in the past, someone that used a keyboard is cheating because it's not handwriting. So ChatGPT is a tool for you to use. It's a tool. Of course, if it's a language exam that requires you to write, okay, then it's fine. But it's like using calculator. Why calculator everybody use and ChatGPT is cheating in our day-to-day? So it's learn to unlearn. And you will ask me now, but Ricardo, how do I do this? Let me give you the tip. Tip number one. You will have this slide deck, okay? I will send to Elena and she will share with you. Watch the backwards brain bike. It's a 7-minute video. Watch it. It's fun. And you will see how unlearn is important. Another thing, join BJ Fogg Tiny Habits free 5-day program on tinyhabits.com. And let me just highlight one thing to remove your obstacle. Free, okay? And it's for you to develop any new habit that you are not used to. And exercise creativity in your daily routine. The best way to unlearn is to use creativity. Do you know how do? I try to wear different socks in one day than the other. I try to match different clothes. I try, for example, to take shower in a different shower. You know, I try to do different things. And this is just to trigger. I don't know how to say exactly in English, but you know, when you sleep, this is your bed, okay? Look to me, this is your bed. You sleep with your head here and your feet here, like this, in the bed. Why not tonight you sleep the opposite? The opposite, with your feet where it's supposed to be your head, and your head in your feet. You will say, this is pointless. Do it and you will see. Creativity means different paths. Just to give you an idea, I am going in I think a month's time or something, a little bit more, to do to a monastery to stay 3 days in silence. And you may ask, am I religious? No, I'm not religious at all. Why am I going? Because I want to know how is to live with no electronic, nothing, and silence. I want to have this experience. Second, in late August, beginning of September, I'm going to the Burning Man. The Burning Man is an alternative event that happens in the Black Rock Desert in Nevada. And it's a completely, go on the web and check Burning Man and you will see what I'm talking about. So I'm going. It's a completely different planet from where I live. And why I'm going? Exactly because I want to practice this and learn. I want to see reality with a different lens, because this will help me to learn different things. And my question to you now is, what are you doing to bring this diversity? For example, instead of going in the same restaurant 10 times a month and in the restaurant asking the same food with the same drink that you already know the total amount of your check, why not going to a different one? Even to know, oh, this is worse, no problem. But why not? Why not doing that? And my last advice, I'm coming to an end, but my last advice, it's manage fear. You know, don't think I'm talking to you with a comfort, thinking, oh, you know, I'm happy. No, I feel pain. I wake up many times feeling that I'm staying behind, that I'm late, that I'm not up to date, and even more because I'm working with this AI stuff, and I am the slow one on that. I am the really slow one on that. And then I feel sad. I say, oh God, everything is happening, and manage your fear, because fear is a genuine human feeling. Having fear makes you safe. If you do not have fears, you become a very dangerous person. But you need to manage it, because if you don't manage it, it will dominate you. And what are my tips in a very practical terms? It's the fear. It's that you should remember that everyone is feeling the same anxiety. And I want to say that because when you feel, after listening to me, this anxiety, think that I'm feeling too by saying that. You are not alone, so don't panic. The second, this is hard. Reduce your usage of social media by 50%. I'm not saying stop and do a full digital detox. No. Just reduce. Just try to reduce. Okay, some of you need to work on that, but to reduce. For example, I use social media a lot in the business perspective. I'm saying it's like LinkedIn and this, but I use very little on the personal base. Why? Because I don't want to get contaminated. Third one, practice mindfulness, meditation, mindfulness. I try to do every day 10 to 15 minutes of mindfulness. I have an app that I use this one. It's called Headspace. There is another one that is very good, also called Calm. Both of them are great, and there are 100 of them that are free. Okay, that are free. But practice to see that there are options and improve your reading, and also develop early warnings in your professional life. Fear does not grow on a linear scale. Fear grows like this. Let me explain to you. Fear grows like this. Intensity and impact. It's like this. Suddenly goes this. And this is when you have the burnout or the panic attack. This is where you have the burning. So what you need to develop triggers here that shows you what is going on. And for me, don't feel that because, I would say a material success, I have a good life and this, that I don't feel fear. I just develop very strong early warnings to help me to see that, I'm being dominated by fear. And sometimes I can trigger that and deactivate that before I get into the panic mode, of things becoming out of control. So coming to an end, what is my final remark? If I have one phrase to share with you, and this phrase is from a Brazilian author that I love. And this for me is the road, that is the wonder of what we do. It's when we think we have all the answers, life comes and changes all the questions. And this for me is the magic of being project manager, because every single day in my 25 years of experience, it's a different thing. It's doing a different project, a different thing. It's something different happening. It's AI. And this is the magic of what is to live as a project manager. And I want you to take this, because we'll never have all the answer for all the questions, because the questions will change. In November last year, I was not even thinking about AI as something imminent. And now AI dominates maybe 40% of my time, just to give you an idea, 40% of my time. So with that, I just want to thank you very much. These are my contact information. So most of you have this. I am I just on LinkedIn, I'm running out of connections on LinkedIn. So I have more than 2,000 people waiting to connect on LinkedIn. So it's a little bit tricky to connect, but you can follow me, and I'll be more than happy to be open to that. So with that, I still have, I think, something like 5 to 7 minutes, right? So now I am back to take any question, any comments, whatever you want to discuss.
So just 2-3 words ahead. So first, thank you so much, Ricardo. This has been very, very inspiring and remarkable presentation. I think all of us are so thankful for you being here today. And I think we all saw how your curiosity and your passion, even not just in theory, but in practice through the presentation. So thank you so much for that. I will post the video code before we continue, because we're almost coming to an end, and before we continue with the slides, so we can share a couple of we can ask if someone wants to ask a couple of questions. We have the time for that now. And Thomas just posted one Mentimeter link. Thomas, if you could post it once more, because it went up. So that we can rate, if you would like to rate this event. This would help all of us, Ricardo, us as a group in local group Darmstadt, just to see if you're liking this event, and yes, if you would like to see more of this. Now, if someone wants to ask a question, feel free to either write it in the chat, or you can also unmute yourself and ask.
I think we have some here. I didn't hold on.
Maybe I'll start with a question, Ricardo, my friend. I'm very happy that you accepted this invitation, and I'm very happy that really it was a wow presentation in terms of emotions, but also content. You know, so much things. And I think the AI topic will engage everybody of us, and many of us have seen these tiny steps we can take to follow you a little bit on your fast journey. So my question to you is, you know, will AI kill agile?
Will AI kill
agile, the agile movement?
Agile. Okay. Yeah, this is a tricky question. I think that AI may make us to revisit all the development models we are using today, because AI today is a tool on such a fast speed that will may challenge one of the key components of Agile, that is this speed and this velocity. So this is how I see that. I don't think it should kill. I think that we all need to understand that there is nothing like the good and the bad. This is just for people that want to sell you things. What really matters is that you need to use the right tool at the right moment on that, because I saw fake Agile, okay? I saw people using Agile and messing up with everything. And I saw people using waterfall in a very Agile way. I'm saying in a very, so it doesn't matter. So we just cannot be very naive on that. But I think AI will impact in a much more dramatic way the projects involving Agile than the projects involving a waterfall process. This is my view, okay, Thomas? This is a very polemic point, but this is my view on that. Marina said, what if we use AI for projects like James Webb to prevent from over budget and simplify our responses to risks? Look, I think if we use AI, I just use that to give you a glimpse of insights, because what is happening today, we have an overload of information. So imagine the James Webb, those who are leading, imagine the amount of information they need to digest every day. Imagine if they have a tool that they could say, tell me, what are the problems I should focus based on this report? And it gives you if you rely on that, it will save a lot of effort and it will speed up the decision instead of you having to read. I was using the treadmill this morning, just to give you an example. And I was watching Netflix, and I was using this Manhunt that was about the Boston Marathon bomber, the person who exploded, how they hunt him. And they had thousands of hours of footages of the streets trying to identify. At that time, they didn't have that technology. But today, they could have put all of this in a matter of seconds to combine all of this. So it will be much, much faster. This is just an example on how a reliable AI could speed up the decision. Another example, diagnose. For example, imagine that your MRI talks to other MRIs around the globe and give you the diagnosis in a perfect way when you just leave that with a second and a third opinion on that. These are some of the use. But of course, if you make the wrong decisions, then it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's just, remember, imagine you giving a high-speed car, a fast car, to someone that does not know how to drive. It will just put the person in risk much, much quicker. Okay? Thank you. By the way, great question. Let me see if there is another one. I'm taking a look here. If I'm...
Florian. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Sank. All my software engineer friends have already paid $20 for the ChatGPT. It's already here touching the careers of numerous people. Yeah, I'm one of them. I'm a paid user. There is a free ChatGPT, but I most of the time use GPT-4. That I believe it's ChatGPT-3 is amazing, but the GPT-4 is another level. And for me, I think it's worth to pay that, but it's a personal decision on that. But I know many people are paying to that, okay? But there is the free version. Jorg, isn't it us to evaluate the outcomes of PMO AI? What will be the responsibility of us in future becoming anti-fragile, as you said, or not? I don't know if I understood perfect your question. My answer is, isn't us to evaluate the outcomes? The answer is yes, absolutely. This is why we'll put in a beta test and people will try, will test, will refine and do this. And it's an evolving product. It's like ChatGPT. Every time you ask something, it improves the results. And this one, we are paying a big attention on copyright and also privacy. So your data will not be mixed with someone else's data on that. And that will be responsibility of us in future to become anti-fragile, as you said, or not. Yes, I'm trying to do that because I believe that knowledge sharing will be extremely helpful. We want to put this too, but honestly, we need to wait and see what will happen, how things will evolve. What I know, it's every day, it's a new day on that. And we are trying to do the best we can in a responsible way. And I believe most of the people in this area are trying to do the same. Not everybody, but most. Okay, Munir, there are 15 questions. Okay. Elena, do you want to read or do you want me to take one?
I could read one. There is one from Florian and one from Cheng. So from Florian, it goes on which data are based the AI for business solutions. Is there a data security issue to use it as an employee? Should it be done under the consent of my company using some of those tools?
Yes, and yes. Let me remember one phrase I learned in 2018 Jérôme Lenier, one of the top social media experts at TED in Vancouver. He said, if the product is free, you are the product. Let me reverse that. If every single item you put on ChatGPT becomes part of ChatGPT database, so you should never put confidential information on it. First. Second, what companies are doing to avoid this? Then it's where the business is. Microsoft has the GPT server now that companies can use all the benefits of the public ChatGPT, where none of its information will be shared outside the network or even based on the access control of every single user. So this will sort out this problem. It's like your email when you send internal and external. So you will use the power of the GPT with all the learnings of your prompts, but your prompts will not benefit anyone else outside the privileges that you are issuing. And this is where the big business for Microsoft is. The big business is not on OpenAI, but is on selling this to your company in the future. And not only Microsoft, Amazon, Google, all of them will do the same.
Thank you so
You
much.
want to ask the other one?
So we have from Cheng saying, Ricardo, while I was searching for a new PM role in a new company, I had 10 plus interviews with multi-billion-dollar companies here in Germany and worldwide. Almost all of them concentrated on hard skills of project management. However, as you may agree, the general consensus in PM training programs, the soft skills are very important and lead the success of the company, like conflict management, facilitation, etc. How do you comment on hard skills like master of MS project, etc., versus soft skills, and why companies demand hard skills during the interviews?
Okay, Sang, thank you very much for your honesty and for sharing your experience on that. First, I did not participate in interviews recently, so I don't know exactly why they are asking. I'm just a little bit surprised because I think that soft skills are much harder to get than hard skills. For me, I can teach you Microsoft project in probably 1 or 2 days, but I cannot teach you negotiations. I cannot teach you communications in 2 days. So I think these soft skills are very important. Probably companies are using hard skills because hard skills are much easier to assess, right? Hard skills is easy to access. For example, do you know Microsoft project or not? Or for example, even, do you have a PMP or not? Means if you have a PMP, then you know. This is not true. But I think companies are evolving. So I'm a little bit surprised of seeing this. I don't know the German market on that. And I don't know which kind of jobs were you looking on that. But what I see today, if I'm recruiting for example, at UNOBS in this, the less relevant point for me, it's if you know Microsoft project or not, because this I can teach you in the first week of work. But other things are much more relevant for me. But thank you very much for that.
I don't see any other questions. In case we miss something, feel free, you guys, to also unmute yourself and ask it. So we can give a couple of seconds for that. In the meantime, Thomas is showing the feedback. There have been 26.
Oh, Barbara, I'm happy that you already took an action. That's fantastic. Okay, you made my day.
Very nice.
I think everybody's so quiet, so I think it's time for us to go, right?
It's time for an evening. I hope maybe for some people morning, some people late in the night. We don't know. So thank you once more so much, Ricardo, for this
thank you
session and for taking the time for us.
Yeah, Elena, thank you very much. Okay, share the presentation with me
We'll share the
later. I
presentation.
want to keep it on my files for the future. My
Yes.
friend Thomas, okay, thank you for the opportunity, my friend, okay? Thank you for inviting me. And to all of you, thank you, okay? Stay well, stay happy, okay? And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Ricardo.
Bye bye.
Bye, my friend.
Bye-bye.